Nvidia is gearing up to report earnings next week, and Wall Street, well, it's still feeling bullish on the AI darling despite some worry over potential delays of its Blackwell chips. Yahoo Finance's Madison Mills joins us now with more. Maddie.
Hey, Shauna. So if you saw the Nvidia sell-off on Thursday and got a little bit worried, you're not crazy for that, right? It was a fairly substantial sell-off on Thursday. It made Nvidia responsible for a third of the downward pressure that we saw in the overall Magnificent Seven basket, and it was the biggest laggard of the group. Now, Wall Street responding, saying keep calm and carry on for investors. A slew of big banks reiterating their buy ratings on Nvidia, with nearly 90% of analysts maintaining a buy rating on the stock. You've got Citi, Goldman, and KeyBank among the banks that are maintaining that bullish view. So I'm going to go through some of the company takeaways, and then I'll talk about the stock and the technical side of things. So Goldman in particular, focusing on how the totality of earnings that we've gotten so far does indicate an improved AI demand outlook from other big tech names. Think about the hyperscalers, your Amazons, Microsofts, Meta, who make up 40% of Nvidia's revenue. All of those firms have talked about increased AI expenditures despite any concerns with the Blackwell chip delay. If these companies are still maintaining their robust AI spend, they're going to be focusing their expenditures on other chip offerings from Nvidia that are a little bit more affordable. But if they're continuing that expenditure on their balance sheets and spending on Nvidia chips, that is going to continue to be a positive signal for Nvidia on a fundamental level. Now, from a stocks perspective, in a lot of these notes, there's this idea that sell-offs for Nvidia are, quote, valuation correctors. These sell-offs are buying opportunities. This is something that so many of our guests for the past several years, honestly, have talked about with Nvidia. If you are someone who has not had an opportunity to get in on this stock, perhaps when you see a sell-off, that might be considered a buying opportunity for you. Lastly, I want to prep everyone for Nvidia's earnings. Let's say you listened to the analysts from Goldman I just talked about, and you're interested in getting in on Nvidia. What can you expect heading into their earnings next week from a stocks perspective? The options market is pricing in a 9 to 10% move in either direction after earnings. That's according to Stuart Kaiser over at Citi. And if the earnings are positive, that means that Nvidia could add $270 billion to its market cap. That is more than the entirety of a McDonald's to its market cap just off of its earnings. And lastly, let's say something happens, Nvidia earnings are negative. Investors who've come on our show and analysts who've come on our show, Catalyst, have said to think long term. If you look at Nvidia compared to the S&P 500, it is beating the S&P significantly by double and even triple digits. When you go to the 1 year here, you can see on your screen, Nvidia is up 174% over the past year, and the S&P up just 28% in perspective there.
All right, Maddie, great breakdown there. We're going to continue tracking this, as we know you will as well. Thanks so much, Maddie.